What's up, everybody? Let me share my screen. Now, I'm going to be teaching quite a bit. But I ain't promising that I'm going to always have slides because sometimes I just need to get to it. Sometimes I just need to get to it. What is up? If you are not familiar with me and who I am, Kimberly Janelle. I am the CEO of Kimberly Janelle Enterprises. I am the founder of Intent to Profit Community. A little bit about me, baby. I've been here 17, 18 years and fell in love with tax strategy, specifically for entrepreneurs. Now, I don't want to get on my soapbox because I want to make sure that I stick to what I say I'm going to teach today. But I find it disturbing that for entrepreneurs who look like me, they think that tax strategy is something that only wealthy people can use. And what I'm here to teach you, specifically through my Intent to Profit community, is that tax strategy, you need to be doing that the moment you start making money. As a matter of fact, you become wealthy by having a strategy, okay? And sometimes it's the littlest things that you do that can keep you from having profit. It can keep you from building wealth. So many people are like, well, I want to build this business for my kids. Well, first of all, your kids probably have no interest in your business, none. I'm not building Kimberly Janelle Enterprises for my children to one day take over. They have no care, desire, interest. They don't give a rat's patootie about tax. Okay, that's my thing. But what I can do with my business, wow, I got on the same earrings right now that I got on in this picture. That's so weird. Okay, focus, Kimberly. What I can do with my business is I can make sure that I am maximizing every dollar that I make in my business, and then I can create something for my children to continue my legacy, not necessarily my business. Okay, but let's get back to it. All right, so Intent to Profit, from hobby to legit business. Now, usually when I get clients, when people find me, they are in one of two places. Okay, and you might find yourself in one of these two spaces as well. The first person is a hustler. They are somebody who that they have a plan here. I don't like saying they don't have a plan. They have a plan. Even if it is, I need to make enough money to pay this light bill at the end of the week. I need to make enough money so I can quit this job. I need to make enough money so that the money makes sense, right? So they have a plan, but it's here, okay? But the hustler, they making money, money's coming in, money's going out. They're not keeping track of nothing. They don't have anything in writing. But they working hard. You know, they trying to get customers. They making social media posts. They doing the reels. They doing all the stuff. That's the hustler, okay? The second person that usually finds me is the hidden CEO. This is a person that is starting to think more like a CEO. They're already thinking about it, strategy and systems and documentation. And they've also started to do some things right. Maybe they're not doing them completely right, but they're already starting on that path of documentation and putting some systems in place, realizing that they cannot be the business, right? So you'll probably find yourself in one or of those spaces. If you found me, you're probably one of the two. You're either a hustler, and listen, let me be clear. Some people have a business and they didn't have any intention on creating a business. Sometimes people who find themselves, who are the hustlers, number one, they are people who just started doing things and people paid them. And then after a while, more people started paying them. Or they would get a request to do something and I'll pay you. Or maybe it was somebody that was like, listen, I know how to do this thing really well and I need to kind of make some money so that I can get past this hump. And then they get past this hump and it's like, okay, this not bad. Like, okay, I raised the $2,000 for the down payment. Okay, I raised or I made the $1,500 for this deposit, or I was able to make, maybe I need to see what I could do with this. And they just keep going, right? Before you know it, they have a business, but they don't know what to do with it. That's why I am here. Okay. So you should drop in the comments wherever you see this. If you're in the Zoom room right now, or if you are watching this on a replay, Drop in the comments which one you are. You are the hustler or you are the hidden CEO. And either way, regardless of where you are, I'm here to help you. All right. So let me give you a little secret. The IRS don't care nothing about what you're passionate about. Okay? They don't care that you're passionate about taxes. They don't care that you're passionate about juicing and natural herbs and fruit and veg. They don't care nothing about that. They care about your proof. Can you prove that what you are doing is running a business? Okay? And that comes down to systems, documentation, having some clarity for yourself, having some structure, being able to operate in confidence. We teach that in the community, how to put all of those systems and things in place. But don't you worry, okay? If you stay here long enough, you'll get it. All right? So let's talk about the hobby trap. The hobby mindset says, I'll get to it when I can. Okay. The hobby mindset has hobby results. Because if you don't grow it like a business, then it'll never pay you like a business. Okay. So that means you're not able to write off expenses. And somebody might be listening to this like write-offs. What's write-offs? That means that you spending money on stuff that you're not tracking, you're not accurately giving yourself the benefit of not paying the taxes that you are going to pay because you're not tracking the expenses. Okay? Your business will not grow. I'm gonna tell you what else will happen. Not only will your business not grow, you'll burn yourself out. Okay? When you make the shift from hustler, side hustler, gig, whatever that looks like for you, to hidden CEO, business owner, you start thinking about systems. What stuff can I put in place? What do I need to keep track of? How can I know what's working? You don't know what's working if you don't keep track of anything. And so it's small systems that you put in place. And if you're running a hobby, you don't care nothing about no systems. You don't care nothing about income goals. You don't care nothing about how much you spent. You don't care nothing about uh um your profit. You don't care nothing about that. You just see money coming in. You spend the money on whatever you want to spend it on. Then when it's time to buy stuff again for your business, then you find the money to buy the stuff that you need. And CEOs, when you get to the place where you are trying to really make what you're doing a business, you will start thinking, okay, what little things do I need to change? Okay? All right. So let's talk about what makes a business a business. Okay? If you have any of these things, then you are operating as a business. Okay? Everything you do creates a picture for the IRS. So if you have separate bank accounts, if you have consistent action, if you are tracking what's happening in your business, and you are constantly learning, if you are a consumer of your business, I, the craziest thing to me is it's like asking somebody who sells watermelons, well, how do you know when a watermelon is sweet? Well, what does the watermelon taste like? And they say, I don't know, I don't like watermelon. I don't know, I don't like watermelon. You just told me that it's sweet. You can tell that it's sweet if I knock on it. I can look at the coloring, what it should taste like, but then you tell me you don't like watermelon. I don't know. I don't know. How do I know that you know what you're talking about? You have to be a consumer of your business. Now, I don't mean that in the sense that you're using up the products and services in your business, but you do have to know the inside scoop of your business. If you make products, you got to consume those products to a point where you can tell, that's not working together anymore. Okay, when I put these two things together, this is what happens. If you provide a service, if you are not walking through that service, then you don't know where the hiccups are, where the kinks are, where the bottlenecks are, right? Constantly learning, constantly improving. Okay? So if you look at this screen, you're like, yeah, I don't I don't know if this is me. Maybe your first step is to open up a bank account. Now, let me make a caveat right here. It says open up a business bank account. Yes, it needs to be a bank account for your business. But if it is not an LLC, you do not have to have a business bank account. It just needs to be a bank account separate from your personal account. You have to separate those accounts. Okay? You cannot let your business money and your personal money play together. It just can't happen. All right? So, the IRS, did you know that the IRS, there's 9 signs that they use to determine if you running a business or if you just trying to get over and you actually got a hobby. Okay? 9 signs. I'm sorry, y'all. Let me see how I can fix this. Okay, cool. There's 9 signs that the IRS uses that tells the IRS that I am working in this business. I'm working in this activity to make a profit. Okay? Now, this is not the IRS language, but this is the IRS language in terms that you can understand. Number 1, you keep money records. Number 2, you learn new skills. Now, let me pause on number 2. It doesn't mean that you a cosmetologist one day and then the next day you learning how to do t-shirts and then you learning how to do AI and no. It does not mean that you learn new skills unrelated to the business. It means that you are constantly learning new things that can benefit and grow what you're currently doing. Okay? That's number 2. Number 3, that you work on it often. Whether and often is subjective, right? There are some people who operate in business part-time. Part-time means on the weekends. The point is consistency. So if it's just on the weekends, then that's considered often because it's consistent. If it's part-time, 15, 20 hours a week, that's often, that's consistent. It's about consistency, okay? Number 4, you use assets to earn. What are assets? Courses, ebooks, workshops, strategy sessions. If you offer services, products, are you're building the assets. Okay? Number 5, you've had business success before. You've tried it before. You've tried business before and you had some success. Number 6, you try to fix losses. Now, this is where I'm going to get on my soapbox because I have so many people, and I'm talking about it here in a few minutes, about the rule 3 out of 5 years you got to have profit. That's the safe zone. But if I have 7 years of tax returns and I have 7 years of losses, the question is going to be, did you try to fix the losses? And if I can show that I made an attempt throughout the year to fix the fact that I was going to lose money, then it's not a deal breaker. Losing money is not a deal breaker. Okay? Number 7, you have made some money. Okay? Number 8, you depend on this income. If this is my 100% sole source of income, do you not think I'm trying to earn a profit? Right? If I'm only making enough money to pay for the expenses in the business, I have nothing left to live on. So if I depend on this income, then that is a sign that I'm trying to build a business, okay? And then number 9, you enjoy it but you take it seriously. Number 9 is pretty important because you got to be able to show that you love what you do, but not so much that you just do it for free. People ask that all the time, like, what would you do if you could do anything, you could do it for free and not get paid to do it? What would you do? Well, some people are operating a business, doing something that they enjoy so much that they would do it for free. However, I depend on this income, no, bro. Right? I'm not just talking to entrepreneurs about tax because I love it so much. I also need this income. Okay. So there has to be a balance with that. All right. So let me show you how the IRS sees it. They look at your actions. The IRS is all about your behavior. They don't care how you feel. So if somebody looked at your business today, would they see what you want somebody to feel? Let me say that a different way. What would they see? If they looked at your business right now, what would they see? If they looked at how you operated, if they looked at your social media, if they looked at your finances and your and uh the money, what would they see? And if you say a mess, then that's where we need to fix it. Okay? If you say they would see nothing, then that's what we need to fix. Okay? Because they look at what you do, they look at your actions. They don't care about how you feel. They don't care about how excited you are to talk about X, Y, and Z or to help da 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 or to make blah blah. They look at your actions. They look at your behavior. Okay? We work on this in the community, intent to profit community. All right. This is what I was talking about. The safe zone, 3 out of 5 rule. I've heard people say it before, and there's been entrepreneurs that I've worked with that's like, yeah, let me fix my numbers because I gotta have a profit 3 out of 5 years. First of all, two things that you said wrong. Number one, fix my numbers. I don't work with people who fix their numbers. No, ma'am. No, sir. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Okay. That tells me that you didn't keep track of anything anyway, because there's nothing to fix. Okay. Number one. Number two, 3 out of 5 rule. That is a goal that kind of keeps you safe. But again, the IRS is going to use that checklist. They're all about actions. Okay. What does your behavior show them? So let's talk about mistakes that we make as entrepreneurs when it comes to our money. Mixing our personal and our business money. Huge mistake. Not tracking expenses. Huge mistake. Not having a business plan. Now, let me say something about the business plan. People get hung up on the business plan because they think about that huge document with like 7 or 8 different sections and market research and all of those things. You can have something as simple as a profit intention statement. You can have a um uh um binder. I don't know why I'm losing my I'm losing my words right now. There's a binder that we work on in the community that helps you put all your documents together to show the IRS, no, I'm serious about this thing. Never reviewing your results. Calling everything a write-off. Now, I've met those kind of people as well. Oh yeah, I can write that off. No, ma'am. How is that related to your business? You cannot write off getting your hair done this week. No, no, actually, you can't. No, you actually cannot write off your manicure. You actually cannot. That's not that's not uh necessary and ordinary for your type of business. Now, if you are a print and commercial model like myself and you have an audition for a company who sells coffee mugs or a drink company. I've had one of those before. And the only thing that they will see of me in the commercial is my hands. Like I'm going to hand the drink, right? Or I'm going to hold the product. They want to see what my hands look like. And so there are times where I get an audition notice for my hands. Please take a picture of your hands. Digital photo, which means that I want to see what your hands look like right now. Well, you better know that before I snap that photo, I'm going to go over to the nail shop and I'm going to get a manicure. And then I'm going to submit my photo. And that manicure is ordinary and necessary for that industry, for that line of work. But it's not ordinary and necessary for a life coach. You'd have to explain that. You'd have to have a real reason why it's necessary. It's ordinary expenses for you to get a manicure, why your business needs to pay for that. Okay. So everything is not a write-off. for everybody. Okay. So if the IRS sent you a letter today and said, I need you to send me proof of your three largest expenses, would you be able to prove it? And the IRS works on CP time, so they're not going to send you a letter today about your 2021 taxes or your 2024 taxes. They're going to send you a letter today about your 2021 taxes. I don't remember what I did yesterday, let alone trying to remember what I did in 2021, trying to remember where those numbers came from, trying to remember what those numbers included. Yeah. Will you be able to prove it? Okay? So we got to make record keeping simple. We got to make it easy for yourself and for the IRS to get off of your back, okay? For them to come to your door and quickly turn around because you have made record keeping simple. All right? You don't need a whole lot of fancy software. You don't need a whole bunch of different apps and all of that stuff. You just need consistency. Bank statements, receipts, invoices, mileage log. You need to know what to put on your receipts. Um, Notes on goals and changes that you made. Because remember on the checklist, it said, have you tried to fix the losses? You got to document that. You got to be able to document that. Okay. The other thing you got to do is plan for your profit because profit is not an accident. People who make a profit at the end of the year have planned to make a profit at the end of the year. They don't just roll up on it. Okay. They don't get to December 31st and like, oh, wow. Oh, wow. We made a profit. No, they plan for it. They plan for it and then they track everything so they can see if they're going in the right direction and then they make adjustments, right? That's how you beat this system. Okay. And then here's a big thing. You just got to make adjustments. If you're tracking, then you can make adjustments when things are not working. Okay? Remember 6 said, do you fix um when you lose? Do you fix what you lost? I forget how I said it. How do you know that something's not working? The only way you know that it's not working is if you track it. And so then what do you do when it's not working? You change the price. You change what you include in the price. You do something different in regards to marketing. Maybe your people are not on Instagram. Maybe you decide to stay on Facebook because that's where they are. Maybe you found luck on Substack and you lean into that. Okay? Making the adjustments when you lose and documenting that. What does documentation look like? That's it. All right, let's talk about this case study because people are always quick to say, "Yeah, no, but my friend Pookie, no, baby." Let's look at some actual case studies um of how the IRS used this 9-factor test. Okay? This man's last name was Mast. He raised cattle for a long time and he lost money year after year after year after year. Okay? And he had no budget. He kept no records. He did not have a plan. He just bought them when he bought them. He sold them when he sold them. He did whatever. But he would write stuff off, right? He would write off expenses. The IRS determined that it was a hobby because he did not have any paperwork. He loved these cattle. He loved raising them. But because he did not keep paperwork, he didn't have any records, he didn't have a plan. The IRS determined that it was a hobby and everything related to the cattle was a hobby. He could not write it off. Now, that is an expensive hobby, okay? Let me give you another one. This is really good for my creatives that might be on here. Jackson, he was a part-time musician, okay? Violinist, I believe. He played the strings. I do remember it was strings. I don't remember what instrument it was. But he demanded contracts when he worked for people. So he signed contracts. He got paid by invoice. He kept records. Whatever wasn't working, he changed it. He would make changes to his business. And because he had documentation, the IRS said that he was operating a real business as a musician, and they allowed all of his deductions to stay put. So it is not about 3 to 5. It ain't about that. It's about what can you prove, okay? Your paperwork is your protection. That's what protects you from the IRS. When you get a letter from the IRS, because they're not going to come to your house, they're not going to knock on your door, they're not coming with a briefcase. They don't do that anymore. They have determined that they get a 300% return on their investment by mailing out notices. Why? Because people don't open the notice. I always share this story about a girlfriend of mine during the pandemic. She got a letter from the IRS and she called me or sent me a message or something. She's like, Kim, I got a notice from the IRS. I'm like, open it. She's like, I can't open it. I'm like, just open it. I can't open it. I'm scared. I don't know what it's going to say. Girl, just open it. And she opened it and it was the letter saying, we're giving you $600 economic stimulus check. Now, she did that for the stimulus notice, but there are people who do that every day. The IRS sends them notices and say, hey, we just want to kind of ask you some questions about some numbers. Let us know in 30 days. And we don't open the mail. What the IRS has decided or has determined, because they track as well, right? They're a business, they track. What they discovered was that for every piece of mail, for every dollar that I pay in postage, I make a 300% return on that dollar. So why wouldn't I just mail out a whole bunch of stuff? Right? So when IRS mails out the notice to you to say, hey, our numbers look a little different. We need proof of the last three or the three largest expenses on your tax return. The burden of proof is now on you. But because you listen to Kimberly Janelle, because you're part of Intent to Profit community, and you start documenting and you start printing off stuff and you send them the documentation, the paperwork, your protection of the three things that they asked for, the burden of proof now shifts to them. Okay? It is now their responsibility to prove that this documentation that you just sent them is false, is is um not accurate, that you just doctored it up. And they can't do that. If you have receipts, if you have copies of receipts with the notes on the receipts as you're supposed to, they can't then say, yeah, I don't think this is a legit receipt. They can't say that. If you got an invoice with a company's letterhead on it that says that they paid you $15,000, they can't then say, oh, let me finish that. You have an invoice with the letterhead from the company that paid you $15,000, and that $15,000 is also shown in your business bank account. They can't then say, yeah, I don't think this is accurate. Then they go away. Your records protect you. Your records protect you. Okay? I'll teach you how to do all that in the community. So now you got to just shift your way of thinking. You got to act like a CEO. It drives me nuts when I work with creatives who Father help me. They it's like they fly by the seat of their pants. They work. You can tell that they're in hustle mode because it's just like, oh yeah, I'll come do that thing for you over there. How much you gonna pay me? Okay, cool. Everything is just a verbal agreement. There's never anything in writing. When you get paid, it's either by cash or cash at me, or oh, I'm using Venmo, Zelle. Let me not say Zelle, because there is Zelle available on business accounts. So retract I recant the statement of Zelle, okay? You're not protecting yourself at all by not having a paper trail. You gotta have a paper trail. Let me get on my soapbox right now about Venmo and Cash App, and I don't know what some of those other platforms are. Let me. Mhm. You know when you activate one of those accounts, let's say Venmo, because I know this to be true about Venmo. You create your username, you put your email address in, you do all the things, right? And then there's that fine print. And we usually just scroll, and we get to the bottom and we click I agree or I accept, and we create our account. What we don't pay attention to because we scroll. In the fine print, we don't even read it. We scroll. In that fine print for Venmo, let me just speak to Venmo, okay? Venmo's fine print says that if we determine that you are operating a business using this personal money exchange system, we can do a couple of things. Number one, we will shut down your account. Number two, we will keep your money and you will not be able to use our platform anymore. And you just scroll. I agree. So then you start transacting in the account a little too much with some businesses yeah, you putting in a note. Oh, this for that flyer. 2 t-shirts, 7 t-shirts, 6 plates. Cash App. There is a Cash App for business. So you can use Cash App if you have the Cash App for business profile. And if you're going to do that, then do that. Okay? I'm off my soapbox. I'm off my soapbox. I'm off my soapbox. There are easy ways to create a paper trail, a system for people to be able to pay you, for that money to go into a separate bank account. Notice I didn't say business account, but for it to go into a separate account, for you to protect yourself with paperwork. I'm gonna be teaching about that here in a little bit too. Okay, you got to keep learning. This is one of the ways that you can keep learning by being connected to me. Okay, you got to make a commitment to get better. You got to know about your field. You got to learn more about your field. You got to get a mentor, a coach. You got to track what's working. Get into workshops. Get into networking opportunities that connect you with other people that can help you to continue to learn and get better. Okay. If you have multiple years of losses, you got to reassess. You got to reassess. Before you quit, you got to reassess because most times there's something that's broken, not the business. There's a system in the business that's broken or missing. Maybe it's something that you just need to add to the business. But you need to ask yourself the question, am I talking to the right people? Am I charging the right price? Do I need some do I need some help? It is okay to say that you need some help. It's okay to say you need some help. It is okay to say that you need some help. Okay? So here's your plan. These are the things that you need to do. If you don't have a business bank account, a bank account for your business, it doesn't necessarily have to be in the business division. Unless you have an LLC, then you have to have a business bank account. Okay? Oh, you need a bank account for the money that you make. You need a one pager not the executive summary and the market analysis and all of that. Don't just, you need a 1-page document that says what the plan is for your business. Heck, Chat GPT can help you with that. Tell Chat all the stuff that you want to do in your business. Say, Chat, I need to create a 1-page document that explains the path of my business from now for the next 5 years or the next 2 years, or this is what I'm trying to get done in the next couple years. Can you help me create a 1-pager? Okay. You got to start tracking your income and your expenses every month. You got to review your profits every month. And then you got to adjust and be open to learning. You're building something and you got to be able to show it on paper. It's cool that people can see it. Social media, come to your vending table, but you got to be able to prove it on paper. And let me tell you, there's a couple ways that you could work with me more closely, intently. And because I know how to help, it would be selfish of me not to offer it to you. Okay. We have a 5-week intent to profit framework. This does not start until February. But all the things that you need to learn, the business legitimacy blueprint, the binder, business legitimacy binder. We help you create that on week 2. Week 3, we talk about all the stuff that you need to track. And week 4, we put those systems and stuff in place. Number 1, we go in week 1, we go in and talk more about those 9 rules that the IRS uses, what it means. What does it mean when they say they're looking for an intent to profit? What does that mean? So I'm only working with a small number of people. It's going to be live modules. It's actually going to be 5 weeks of live modules. You'll get lifetime access to it. You'll get the binder, everything that you need in the binder. We'll have a community, of course. On Fridays, we do hot seat coaching. And then you'll also get an audit proof kit going through this process. Now, the value of this is $1,500, but it is only $597. And that is because this is the first time, as of today is what? November 19th. As of today, this is going to be the first cohort that goes through this process. Okay. So it's $597 right now. And I don't know when you'll hear this. When you hear this again, it's not going to be $597 because I will have critiqued it and added some stuff and juiced this thing up. So right now it's $597. You can join the Intent to Profit course, $597, or if you want to just be a part of the community, that's $69 a month. Let me tell you the difference. Okay. Excuse me. In the community, or excuse me, in the course, that's for my CEOs, my hidden CEOs. If you're ready to get legit, to set up your systems, to understand the IRS intent to profit test, to build your binder and stop overpaying in taxes, then this is where you need to be. You need to be in the course. Okay. That's the fast track. If you want to be in the community, we're going to do weekly trainings. We're going to have monthly challenges. We're going to have a community, supportive community. We're going to put a few little simple systems out there. This is the support track. Now, the community is going to be great for people once when you get done with the 5-week course, you get access to the community for 6 months. Again, because the community is the support. And you need to know what to put in place. You need to walk alongside someone to help you put some things in place. And we do that in the course. And then you get into the community so that you can be supported on this journey of entrepreneurship, because what you need is always going to be the same. You're going to need systems, you're going to need strategy, you're going to need a document. But based on where you are in your business, what that looks like for you will change. Okay. So for the 5-week course, I'm only taking 25 people. I'm closing it January 31st or when I get the 25th person. Okay. And then the 5 weeks starts February 2nd. The beautiful part about this is going to be taking place at the prime time for you to get ready for tax season. to file your tax return. I hate saying tax season because it's not tax season. This course is going to be taking place at the prime time for you to get ready to file your tax return. So we'll be finishing up the top of March. You'll have everything that you need to then give it to your CPA, bookkeeper, tax professional to get your 2025 tax return done. Okay. So I hope to see you inside of the community. Links are going to be in the description for you to either join the community or be a part of the Intent to Profit course. I hope to see you. I think it's going to be amazing. You got to learn what you need to know so that you can build the business of your dreams and then not be afraid of the IRS when they come knocking, because they are, but you're going to be cool if you do the work. All right. I will see y'all next time.